YouTube, how's it going? Welcome back to Paul's Draft. My name is JD, and today we're continuing with our playthrough of Pokemon Blue to figure the best Poison-type Pokemon is in Generation 1. Last week, we kicked off this challenge with a playthrough of Tentacruel. Recommend you go check it out. Tentacruel is a very fun Pokemon, very good Pokemon. Today, we're going to play through with a Pokemon called Weezing. Weezing is known as a Poison Gas Pokemon. I have a weird suspicion this is probably the worst-smelling Pokemon in Generation 1. What do you think the worst-smelling Pokemon in Generation 1 is? Let me know in the comment section down below. Here are the stats for this Pokemon. HP is 65, Attack is 90, Defense is 120, Speed is 60, and Special is 85. I don't think the stats for this Pokemon are this Pokemon's problem. I think the stats are absolutely fantastic. The problem with this Pokemon is on the right side, you're going to see a very shallow move pool. I'll go over that here in a minute. Let's go and dive into the playthrough. The first battle of the game is against our rival. Rival's name is Sub. We gave Sub a Charmander. It really isn't a great option. I'll touch on that a little bit later. But here's the battle. We start off the game with a very good move in Sludge. It's 65 base power, With Stab, it ends up being 97 effective power. So we 2-hit the Charmander. We knock out our rival's Pokemon. We beat him. And we're going to move right into the next battle against our rival. On the way to Victory Road, it's our second battle. He's going to come out with a Pidgey. We are level 7. We're in a medium fast growth rate, which is pretty good for the game. It's not the best. Medium slow is the best, but it's pretty good. We 2-hit the Pidgey, and we're going to 2-hit the Charmander. I think it goes for Growl, so nope, it makes it a 2-hit. We get a critical hit. We critical hit 11.72% of the time, so it's not often, but it's not bad because our speed isn't bad. Like I said, it's not the greatest speed, but it'll get us through the game. So this Pokemon is Poison type. We're Mono Poison type, which means we are weak to Ground and Psychic. You're going to see Ground being a big problem with this Pokemon throughout the course of the game. You look at the right side and look at the move pool. There's nothing there that solves the Ground problem. It'd be nice if we had access to anything that can do something to Ground, but we don't have that luxury. Okay, we're also weak to Psychic. That's because we're Poison type. But with being good physical attacker, a decent physical attacker, that's not exactly a problem. We just gotta make sure we don't get hit too much by Psychic types, because we can do a lot of damage to Psychic types. Psychic type Pokemon are weak, and then we are resistant to Fighting, Poison, Bug, Grass. That's what it says on the website. But I think in Generation 1 we were actually neutral against Bug, or actually we're weak to Bug, and Bug's weak to us. I think it's like a mutual weakness that we have. But those are our weaknesses that we have with this Pokemon. So early in the game, we're actually fighting a decent amount of battles. And as much as I would love this to be a situation where we can just go minimum battles and go take on Brock because we have such a good move, Brock is resistant to Sludge. Ground-type Pokemon have resistance here, and it cuts the move in half, so it's not as effective as I'd like it to be. So that's probably the downside to this move. But once we get by Brock, this move's amazing. It pretty much one-shots everything throughout the course of the game until we get other moves. And the next move we get for a while. We don't get anything for a while. The next move we get is like Thunderbolt. And then we get that by beating Lieutenant Surge. So we gotta survive on just Sludge. So we leave and come back. We're at level 15. 8 minutes and 15 seconds as we enter this battle. The Geodude comes out. And what we want to do is we want to poison Geodude. We want to poison Geodude. Now, I don't know if you know this or not, but Brock has 5 full heals for each one of his Pokemon. So he has 5 full heals for Geodude, and he has 5 full heals for Onix. So when we poison him, he's going to heal it right away, and he's going to take his turn. So that's what we want about that. We want that. We want him to take his turn. That way he doesn't hit us. So this is going very well, actually. He's not hitting us very often. He's not doing a lot of damage. Like when he hits us, only does about 3. What sucks about Geodude is Geodude likes to go for Defense Curl and just racks up that defense. But we eventually get past all 5 of the full heals, so we actually do poison them. And we want to do the same thing to Onix. This passive damage is going to be very effective. Now, Onix likes to go for Bide if you don't know how Bide works. Basically, over the next 3 turns, whatever I do, the Onix is going to do back to me double. So we don't want to do a lot of damage. We're not doing a lot of damage anyway, so it's not the end of the world. But if we're doing like mid-level damage, where we're doing decent damage, but not enough to knock him out like 3 or 4 hits, he's going to deal back so much damage. Now, Smog is a very weak move against Onix. Only 7 effective power because he's resistant to it. And what we want, like I said, we want him to get poisoned. Because if he's poisoned, he's going to have that passive damage. We can do very minimum damage when he does Bide. And that passive damage is going to knock him out. And eventually, we will knock out the Onix. We get the win over Brock. I wanted to do this at a lower level, but unfortunately, you have to be at 15 to get over damage rounding thresholds. And that's the only way it works. We move on to Mount Moon. There's not a lot of things in Mount Moon. We don't get a move. We don't get anything. We just get a rare candy and maybe an ether. Now our face is Super Duper Nerd. Grimer is a 1-shot. Voltorb is a 1-shot. And Coughing is a 2-shot. So you get a pretty easy win. We grab the Dome Fossil as per tradition. Oh, hail the Dome Fossil. I know if you didn't tell, you're going to ask. Actually, now I think we go ahead and ask. Comments are great for the YouTube algorithm. Now we move on and face Misty. We added Bide because I thought maybe Bide might be useful if Sludge wasn't, because one of our Pokemon is Psychic type. However, it doesn't resist Poison type. That's the thing about the Psychic type. So we 1-shot the Staryu. And now we're going to, looks like a big battle, 4-shot. Yeah, 4-shot on the Starmie. We get a pretty easy win. I would say it's a very convincing, very easy win over Misty. We beat her. And we're going to move right on to our third rival battle on Nugget Bridge. We're at level 22, so we're a little bit over level for this battle, but that's okay. We had to over level for Brock, so that's going to have a residual effect on all the battles. Sludge is a 2-shot on the Pidgeotto. Abra comes out, we're going to 1-shot the Abra. And Rattata comes out, very good. Charmander comes out, and it's going to be a 1-shot as well. Sludge, like I said, Sludge is a great move. I'm not going to sit here and say anything bad about Sludge. Sludge is a fantastic move. Now we're on the SSN. Nothing on the SSN for us except for the Rare Candy and Rest. So we're going to go ahead and face our fourth rival battle. And we're moving right through this playthrough. It's actually a pretty decent time. Not the fastest time, but pretty decent. 1-shot the Pidgeotto, 1-shot the Raticate. Are we going to 1-shot the Kadabra? We should 1-shot the Kadabra. Yeah, there we go. And Charmeleon is Charmeleon a 1-shot. It's very close to a 1-shot, but we get a very nice Toko, a 2-hit knockout, as I like to say. We move on to our third gym leader, and that is Lieutenant Surge. He is the electric type. Electric type's not going to do that much to us. We have pretty good special, so it's not going to be that big an issue. The worst thing we can get right now is Voltorb could hit us with Sonic Boom doing 20 damage. We're going to 1-shot the Pikachu, and is Raichu a 1-shot? I don't think it's going to be... Oh, it is. We get critical hits. That's very nice. And we move right on to Rock Tunnel, where we lost the footage. Since we lost the footage, I'll go and tell you what happened against Boomer the Hiker. He self-destructed on the last gravel, and we won with 1 hit point. It was a very, very, very close battle. It was using Sludge, the poison, and then we just kind of got outlast. And it worked, but it was a very risky battle. And now we're on to Celadon City. I do want to say something real quick. So today is June 5th. It is 5:09 in the morning when I'm doing this voiceover. Tomorrow is my birthday, so if you can politely say happy birthday in the comments, that'd be great. Now we're facing Giovanni. Giovanni has 2 rock ground Pokemon in Onix and Rhyhorn, so this battle is not easy. Sludge does not do that much damage at all, so basically this battle is a battle of attrition where we just want to poison and then hope poison does a lot of the damage for us, and passive damage as we whittle it down. We eventually will get a move that will help us with ground type Pokemon, but it's not a guarantee. It's not a great move. And the last battle of the game, I actually don't do a great strategy with that, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But we do eventually get the knockout over Rhyhorn. Look how long it takes us to beat that Rhyhorn and the Onix. Now we get the Kangaskhan. It's an easy knockout. It's an easy knockout. Probably could have just knocked out with Sludge, but we're out of power points. So we beat Giovanni number 1. He goes, I'm Batman, and vanishes. And now we're going to go ahead and grab the Super Potion. We're going to grab the Silph Scope, and we're going to head in and face Erica. Erica is a grass specialist. She's a grass gym leader, I should say. And Sludge is very effective against a lot of the Pokemon, or a couple of the Pokemon in here. We just 1-shot the Execute. That's a good Pokemon that we can use Sludge against. It's neutral against 2 of her Pokemon. Victory Bell and Vileplume are both poison and grass type, so it's neutral, but it still does a decent amount of damage. Now, Tangela is weak to it because it's a mono grass type. So you see his power jumps up to 195 when you face Tangela. Now, the one problem here is you just don't get put to sleep. Now, we wake right up, so it's not that big a deal. And we are resistant to her grass moves, so no problem there. Erica, super easy, barely an inconvenience. And we're going to move right on to take on our 5th rival in Pokemon Tower. This rival, really, we have something for everything. We have Pidgeotto is going to go down to a Thunderbolt. Very good. Execute, I think we don't click the right thing here. Oh, we do. Okay, so there's another battle. We don't click the right thing. So 1-shot in the Execute, 1-shot in the Gyarados. And we move on to Kadabra, 1-shot as well. And then Charmeleon is Charmeleon a 1-shot. It is. So we sweep the whole team, take no damage. Super easy, barely an inconvenience. If you don't know what that's from, if you've ever watched a YouTube channel called Screen Rant, or I think now it's actually called Pitch Meeting, he does that all the time when he's talking about the parody of how they create movies. Move on and take on Koga. Koga is actually where I get my first reset, because I have nothing good for Koga. Thunderbolt will 2-shot the Coughing, which is good. That just kind of showcases how good our special is. And then Muck comes out, and Muck will be a 2-shot as well. We get a critical hit. I'm pretty sure that helped us there. But we're getting a lot of critical hits for not a slow Pokemon, but like middle-of-the-road Pokemon. And Thunderbolt will 1-shot the Coughing, or 2-shot the Coughing. There we go. Now, Weezing, I think Weezing gets a little bit of luck here. Because self-destruct did so much damage. Yeah, critical hits. That definitely did it. So that's our first reset. Here's what we got to do. Let's go for broke and knock out the Coughing. And the better strategy on the Weezing, instead of just trying to sit there and slug it out, we're just going to go for Smoke Screen. Smoke Screen will stop it from actually hitting us because it's going to lower its accuracy. At least that's the plan. So we 2-shot everything up to the point where we're facing the Weezing. Self-destruct misses. There we go. Strategy worked perfectly, and we take no damage pretty much. And we beat Koga, and we're going to move right on to the next gym leader. And the next gym leader is going to be Blaine. Blaine is the fire specialist, and he's actually going to give us a move we can use, but we're not going to use it. But here we go. Growlithe comes out, and we're going to go for Thunderbolt on the Growlithe. It's going to be a 2-shot. Combination of Sludge and Thunderbolt is going to be a 2-3-shot. Knockout there, knockout on the Ponyta. Here's what I should have done. I actually should have gone right for Silph. We have great moves for our rival, so going for Silph would have been a little bit faster. We also could have picked up Mimic if we beat Silph right away. The only problem with that is how do we get by Giovanni. That's the real question, but we could have done a little bit better here because we could have gotten Mimic and Mimic agility off of Growlithe, and we could have badge boosted and maybe had a much more powerful attack. Make this battle a little bit more convincing, a little bit more one-sided, as I'd like to do it, just to make sure I just destroy Blaine. And now we move on to our 6th rival in Silpho. And like I said, we should have just come here first, because we could have came here first, got a pretty easy win. Sludge is going to be a one-shot on the execute. Gyarados comes out, Thunderbolt on the Gyarados. Everything's going to be a one-shot. Everything's going to be a one-shot. We could have done this at a lower level. And then Charizard comes out. We got a super effective move against Charizard. And we don't one-shot, but Charizard really can't do anything to us. So we get a very easy win over our rival in Silpho. And that leads us on to Giovanni number 2, to Avani. And he's going to be a little bit tricky, because he just has... I mean, Nidorino's not bad, because we can go for Thunderbolt on Nidorino. And it's going to be a 2-shot, and that's good. Kangaskhan comes out. He's not going to be a problem either. It's going to be a 2-shot. Not a problem. We take no damage so far. But now we got to rely on Sludge, and hopefully he gets poisoned. And he does get poisoned, so that's good. Then we go for Smoke Screen and make it so it's really hard for Rhyhorn to hit us. And Rhyhorn, the best thing here is Rhyhorn goes for Tail Whip, and then we can start going for Sludge again and do a little bit more damage. But right now, we're just basically trying to have a battle of attrition. I don't want to use too many Sludges, because if I use too many Sludges, I'll run out of Sludges, and I won't have anything to hit Nidoqueen. Nidoqueen is ground type, so Thunderbolt will not do a thing to her. So it's just about whittling her down and hoping to get her poisoned. Now, the problem with Nidoqueen is I think she is poison type. Yeah, she's poison type. I don't know if she can get poisoned. I honestly don't know the answer to that question. I don't think she can, just like I can't get poisoned. But we do eventually get the win over Giovanni, and he's going to say, "I'm Batman," and vanish again, and we're going to teleport right in front of Sabrina. Now, Sabrina, her gym is actually quite easy. Psychic Pokemon are very frail. So Sabrina and her whip, we're going to one-shot everything. The problem is we're not going to outspeed Alakazam. The real question is, what is Alakazam going to do to us? It can probably go for Psybeam, and probably... Well, Psybeam probably won't one-shot. If it had Psychic, I think it could one-shot us. But instead, it goes for Reflect. And so we get a 2-hit knockout, and we get a pretty easy win over Sabrina and her whip. And we're going to move right on and face Giovanni. Now, a little bit of strategy here is we're going to go ahead and face Giovanni. And we got to get through the first Pokemon. We have nothing great for Rhyhorn. I can't add a move. I can't do nothing for Rhyhorn. The only thing I could possibly do for Rhyhorn is maybe add Fire Blast and burn it. But Poison's going to do the same exact thing. But burning it would actually cut its attack in half, but I'm not taking a lot of damage anyway, so I'm not too worried about that. But we're getting badge boosted here, so that's fine. And we're going to go Sludge. And once we get this knocked out, the real strategy starts on the next Pokemon. So Dugtrio will come out. And we're going to go for Mimic. And we're going to Mimic Dig off of Dugtrio. We have a good attack stat, so this is a great strategy. We're going to one-shot the Dugtrio. Actually, I think we're going to one-shot every Pokemon here. We might not roll one-shot the Rhydon, but we'll see. One-shot on the Nidoqueen, not one-shot on the Nidoking. Is Rhydon a one-shot? I think it should be, and we're not going to learn Haze. Haze is a very bad move. We're not going to use it. And Dig, it's going to be a 2-shot. Okay, good. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. We get a very easy win over Giovanni. Great strategy, great utilization of Mimic there. And we're going to move right on and face our final rival for the Elite Four, and he's going to lead out with a Pidgeotto. Pidgeot. And we'll go for Mimic again. Mimic's a great move to have. We're going to use Agility. Agility will up our speed by 3 stages, but in doing so, it ups the stats around it by 12.5% 3 times. So now we have an attack stat and a special well over 200, so that's a one-shot on the Pidgeotto. Pidgeot. I'm sorry, I keep calling it Pidgeotto. Pidgeot. In my mind, it should be Pidgey, Pidgeot, and Pidgeotto is how it should have progressed, but it doesn't progress that way. And I feel the same sentiment that Scott's Thoughts has. So we do eventually knock out the Rhyhorn. And even though Sludge is a garbage move, we should have stuck with Sludge for the execute. Have been a one-shot. It is what it is. It's fine. We still get the knockout. Get the knockout over Gyarados. And Sludge on the Alakazam. Very good. We outsped there. That was very nice. So Sludge will be a 2-shot on the Charizard. We'll go for Thunderbolt. Finish it off. We beat our rival. And we're going to head on to the Elite Four. Now that we're at the Pokemon Elite, let's go and look at our stats and our moves. And we'll dive right into this playthrough. Stats first. Attack is 164. Defense is 202. Speed is 126, and Special is 158. The bottom left corner is all of our stats modified with the corresponding badge. This is our in-battle stats. Attack is 184, Defense is 227, Speed is 141, and Special is 177. Our moves going into Elite Four are Sludge, Thunderbolt, Mimic, and Hyper Beam. I have no plans on changing any of this. I think these are the moves we're going to stick with the entire time. The only possibility is maybe Rest, but I don't think I use Rest in this playthrough at all. I could use Rest if it's useful, let me rephrase that. But that's what we're going to go into Elite Four with. All good. Let's go ahead and take on the first member of Elite Four, which is Lorelei. We actually have a pretty decent advantage against Lorelei because we have Thunderbolt. Lorelei leads out with a Dugong Gong Gong. Dugong Gong Gong is going to just spam Rest. It's going to see us as a poison type, and it has a psychic move, which is the most effective against us. So it's just going to spam Rest, so that's good for us. We one-shot the Twister, that's good for us as well. and we're going to mimic Amnesia off of the Slowbro. Amnesia will up our special by 2 stages. I'm sorry, every time we do it 2 stages. So we do it up to 3 times, modifying all of our stats as well. So we knock out the Slowbro. Are we going to knock out the Jinx? We should knock out the Jinx. There we go. 1 shot on the Jinx. And then Lapras, the final Pokemon Thunderbolt, will 1-shot the Lapras. So pretty easy win over Lorelei. Take no damage, and we move right on to Bruno. We don't talk about Bruno, or I should say Silencio Bruno. If you know what movie that's from, comment that down below. And we're going to take on this hiker / member of the Elite Four. And we're going to use Sludge on the Onix. Now we did mimic Harden. I don't want to use Harden yet because we're about to level up. If you don't know how the badge boost works, if you modify your stats, it modifies the stats around it, but when you level up, it resets that. So we're going to use the badge boost glitch. We're going to use it right after we level up against Onix. Now we're going to whittle down Onix. Onix can't do anything really to us, so I'm not too worried about Onix. It's just tediousness and slows down the Elite Four, whereas we're going to blitz through everything else as soon as we get our badge or our stats boosted. Harden, 2, 3, and we should probably just go for it now. We don't need to go as high as 5 setups on Harden, but we're going to 1-shot. Or no, we're not actually. Wow, we're not going to 1-shot. Okay, so Thunderbolt's probably better. They don't have great special, so let's go for Hyper Beam on the Hitmonlee. It's a 1-shot critical hit. Don't know if that mattered or not. Hyper Beam on the Onix. It looks like it's going to be a 2-shot. We'll take it. Nope. It's going to be a 3-shot. Wow. I think it went for Harden. That's probably why. We're going to eventually knock out the Onix and then Machamp. Hercule, not Hitmonchamp. We do knock out Bruno. It took a little bit more time than I wanted. Now we move right on to Agatha. Now Agatha's tricky because it's basically the other people that have ground type and poison type Pokemon have given us the most problems in this game. So we are going to mimic Hypnosis off of the Gengar, and Gengar just does not want to stay asleep. We're going to go for Hypnosis. We didn't need to go for Hypnosis on the Golbat. We could have just knocked it out. But the problem with going for Hypnosis is we actually lost one of our power points, and we wasted our time here. And yeah, we're going to need the Hypnosis a little bit later. So we're going to run out of power points on Hypnosis. We're going to knock out the Gengar. Actually, we don't. It switches out. So we're going for a 2-hit knockout on a Haunter. Very good. Gengar comes back out. I don't want to go for Thunderbolt, but we have to. We don't have, like I said, we don't have great options for this. Hyper Beam is completely ineffective against Agatha. We do have another move we could add, but it's not a move that I want to add. It's not something I want to use at this point in the game. Maybe I save Hyper Beam until after this battle, and we could use Fire Blast. Now we get very close in this, and all we gotta do is hit one more Thunderbolt, and we probably win. But we just confusion gets the best of us here. So this is the problem with Agatha. She has the Agatha lot, which can poison you, paralyze you, put you to sleep, and confuse you. Confusion was the kicker with this one. We're going to one-shot the Golbat. Very good. We're going to go for Nightshade this time. So we just, instead of going for sleep strategies, we're going to go for a strategy of making sure we just have another move that can do damage. Now, Dream Eater is bad because Dream Eater is Psychic type, so it does a lot of damage to us. But we eventually knock out the Gengar. We're going to 2-hit, we were going to 2-hit, I should say, on the Haunter until we switched out. But now we're going to 2-hit the Arbok. Very good. Go for Nightshade on the Haunter. Now, we cannot take more than 2 Nightshades from Gengar, so if we went for Nightshade back-to-back, it would have knocked us out here. But it's Agatha trying to go for her crazy strats rather than just knocking me out. I don't get it, but it is what it is. So we survive on 5 hit points. We do beat Agatha. It's a very knockdown, drag-out fight. Not a great fight. Like I said, if I were to do this again, I'd probably keep Fire Blast because it's actually a very powerful move and use that for Agatha and then switch out the Hyper Beam in this battle. But we're going to go for Thunderbolt on the Gyarados. We're facing Lance, the Dragon Master, and we're going to mimic Agility off of the Dragonair. He's just going to go for Agility. Like I said, this is where the Generation 1 has AI problems, and I'll explain this. So we are Poison type. We are weak to 2 things, Ground and Psychic. So Dragonair has Agility, Slam, Dragon Rage, and Hyper Beam. Because Agility is technically a Psychic move, it's a Psychic type move, it's just going to spam it. It's the same thing that's going to happen with the Dragonair, and the same thing that's going to happen with the Dragonite. That's just it's the nature of Generation 1. There's nothing I can help with that, but it's good for us because he's not going for Dragon Rage, he's not going for Hyper Beam, he's just going to spam out Agility because of that mechanic of this game. So we're going to go for Hyper Beam, knock out the Dragonair. Dragonair 2 comes out, knock it out. Aerodactyl comes out, Thunderbolt will be a 1-shot as well, and then we have our final Pokemon Dragonite. I'm pretty sure it's going to go for Agility. Okay, Agility or Barriers is what it usually goes for, but we do get the win over Lance, a very convincing win. We move right on to our final battle of the game, which is our rival. Now, we make a blunder here, and I made a mistake. I mean, it's not quite a blunder, and you'll see why. We're going to go for Thunderbolt on the Pidgeot. It's a knockout. And then Alakazam, we should have mimicked Psychic here, so we had a good move for the Rhydon, rather than going for Hyper Beam. But we don't want to mess around too much, because he can knock us out with Psychic. So that's why I went that route, but, you know, we do need a better move to knock out Rhydon. There is some benefit to taking forever to knock out Rhydon. He does like to go for Tail Whip a lot, so that's going to give us the badge boost. But it's just a knockdown, drag out fight against the old Rhydon here. And we only have, I mean, Hyper Beam probably would be a little bit better. It does a little bit more damage, but I just don't like that turn of reset. But we're going to knock out the Exeggutor, one-hit knockout. Critical hit, don't think that mattered, but, you know, critical hit. We're going to knock out the Gyarados, and then we have one Pokemon left. That is the Charizard, and we're going to one-shot the Charizard. So pretty easy battle against the Elite Four. The only one that gave us problems was the Agatha. Now we're going to time locked into the Elite Four, and we're going to get the time locked in at 56 minutes and 53 seconds. I'm going to pause it right there. So not a bad time. I didn't think this Pokemon would do exceptionally well. I mean, it starts off the game with some good stuff, but there's a lot of disadvantages with this Pokemon. If this Pokemon had access to Body Slam, that'd be just amazing. Okay, access to Body Slam would be amazing. Psychic move would be amazing or something like that, but it's very short move pool, very limits you. And that's not always the worst thing because you know what strategy you have to funnel to, you know what you have to prepare for. So it's not the end of the world. Let's go ahead and look at the tier list and we'll see if this Pokemon ranks. So the time like that, 56 minutes and 53 seconds. Not the worst time, not the best, kind of like, I guess, middle of the road might be what you would call this. This Pokemon ends up being right here, right between Rhydon and right in between Raichu. So we're going to adjust this and I'll come right back. And now that they're adjusted, we're looking at this and we're seeing him right smack dab, like right in the middle with C tier, right behind Rhydon. I think Rhydon will move up in the next tier pretty easy. I mean, I think Weezing will too. 56 minutes. It's only like a minute off of getting into the sub 55 tier. And then Rhydon, I think, will move up. I think a couple other Pokemon are going to move up as well. I have to do a lot of the Rock Challenge Pokemon, a couple extra ones, so that'll happen. I got some things coming up on the channel, so I already mentioned this on my video. Came out on Wednesday. Recommend you check out that video that's on Shuckle. It's probably the longest video I've put out in a long time, but Shuckle is a challenging Pokemon. Next Wednesday, we have a very fun playthrough planned coming out with Heracross. Heracross is one of the new Pokemon that came out in Generation 2. Very awesome Pokemon, very nice Pokemon. I think this Pokemon is going to do very well, and I think the optimized playthrough is going to be even better. So make sure you tune in for that this coming Wednesday and next Wednesday. And then on next Friday, we have two options here. I'm going to try to get some more playthroughs, see if I can get the Rock-type challenge done and have a final recap of the Rock-type challenge. I got a different controller. I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but I had an issue with the controller I have. And it's like kind of, I don't want to say dragging, but it's like I hit a button and it moves forward multiple spots when I only hit it one time. And it's creating a lot of issues. I've tried to do a handful of Rock-type replays, and the times get so messed up because I just can't maneuver. It's been so bad. But Muck is going to be the next playthrough, and I know the Muck picture here it's not great. Muck is not a very photogenic Pokemon. I mean, maybe that's surprising to some people, it doesn't surprise me, but it's just not a very photogenic Pokemon, so keep that in mind. And it's just basically a giant piece of gum. Him and Ditto are like, you know, two different flavors of gum. I think he'd be grape, and I think Ditto would be like something like Starburst or something like that, or bubble gum, or whatever flavor you would call that. But yeah, that's my playthrough. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And like I said, tomorrow is my birthday. If you could do me a solid and like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, that'd be the greatest gift you could ever give me. But the fact that you stopped by and watched my video, it's awesome. You're amazing. If you made it to the end, you're even better. That helps out the algorithm so much. You guys have a good one, and I'll see you guys next time.